Yes, Amanda Waller. All of the original 7 are metahumans. Speak for yourself. I'm human.
What? But you fell from space.
Exactly. My cape is fireproof. You survived a sniper shot to the head.
Oh my god.
Thank you, Lucius Fox. You made a good helmet.
You dodged Darkseid's Omega beams.
I forgot about that. Tibetan monks?
Oh nah,
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
metahuman. He's a metahuman. Let's be honest, guys. As a Batman fan, I cannot sit here and tell you that I don't think his plot armor is ridiculous sometimes. Falling from space, dodging Omega beams, surviving headshots, the Bat God knows no bounds. But I think there's a breaking point with all of this where I get a little tired of Batman being jerked off by writers every 5 seconds, and I want other characters like Green Lantern or Aquaman to get a big moment every now and then. Like DCAU is coming out pretty soon, and Batman is paired up against Star Sapphire. There is no way DC Editorial is letting her win, even though she should. Now I know the constant joke of is used to deflect any sort of criticism on the writing of Batman, which is as funny as the Invisible John Cena joke is. Please, let's get a new joke, everyone. While I find the failsafe arc to be very entertaining, I think the premise is actually insane. The idea of Batman needing to create one of the greatest robots of all time, damn near a Mazo level of sophistication, just to kill one human is ridiculous. The only contingency Batman needs for himself is a gun and someone half as good as Deadshot. Bulletproof armor can only withstand so much. I get it though, it's comics, but the idea of failsafe is so arrogant and it grandizes Batman so much to a point where it's easier to picture failsafe defeating Superman rather than Batman. I mean, when I see anything on social media regarding Superman versus Batman, it has reached a point where the underdog is Superman, and that is because of the insane plot armor. Now I want to go over a few times where that plot armor was more insane than usual and how it didn't always used to be this way.
What up, bro? Fill me in. What happened to this nigga out there? Got knocked out like a little bitch. Nigga, I told you ain't a real superhero, man, nigga. Fuck y'all. This is my dream, nigga. I gotta put some respect on my name.
Now, if you guys know me, you know how much I love/hate the DCAU. I love these cartoons and movies because it was my childhood. I mean, watching Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Static Shock, Justice League, and JLU, so much good stuff. While all of it is worthy of praise, we DC fans can't get enough of JLU, which has informed much of our opinions on these DC characters. For example, the minute Hawkgirl entered the DCU, we all wanted her to have a romance arc with John Stewart. That is something from JLU. Wally West and John Stewart being the main Flash and Green Lantern on the team is from JLU. And unfortunately, Batman being the bestest and most greatest superhero of all time, no matter what, was largely popularized by JLU. Now, I have spoken at length of my appreciation of the creators, especially the men who really shaped my childhood, that being Bruce Timm and Dwayne McDuffie. But we gotta talk, y'all, because the DCAU is full of Batman's insane plot armor. Now, in my Batwank video, I go over this, but I will never let this moment go. I will bring it up until the end of days. Batman taking out Sinestro, leader of the Sinestro Corps, almost destroyed all of the Green Lanterns. He gets taken out by a batarang. Mind you, it's not an explosive batarang, no, it's not an electric one, nope, it's not even one with knockout gas. It is a piece of metal flying at 2 miles per hour, and it takes out one of the greatest Green Lanterns of all time. What is going on? Okay, let me compose myself. I've already ranted about this, and surely this is the most egregious thing the DCAU has to offer. There can't be anything else I can complain about, right? I'm not even going to go over the Darkseid kick again, even though it's probably the most insane feat Batman has, given that Darkseid is. No, I want to talk about Darkseid's biological son, Orion, the new god. Honestly, one of my favorite career designs. His little hovercraft is so dope, and his helmet is fire. Being Darkseid's son, you know he's a powerhouse. I mean, this guy has restrained the likes of Superman. He's even taken a punch by him. He's able to match Dr. Fate in power. He's even able to fight, let alone mortally wound his father, Darkseid, by ripping his heart out. Orion is like that. So, adapting an awesome character like that, you'd think the DCAU would show him a little respect. Right? Right? Wrong. Here we have Leonard Snart, A puny human. Well, he is a Flash rogue. He is only equipped with an ice gun, similar to Mr. Freeze. Well, I respect the Flash. We all know the Flash goes easy on his rogues. They are not a Superman level threat, a Batman level threat, you know the deal. Hell, I could even see Green Arrow taking this dude on no problem. So you would think this guy would be fodder to someone like Orion, son of Darkseid, right? Roll the tape. How is this possible? This dude Orion has power derived from the source wall, and he's losing to a dude named Captain Cold. When I tell you the DCAU bears such cool characters like this, remember this moment. The son of Darkseid, a Superman level threat, is getting done dirty by Captain Cold. Now you all might say, well hey, respect Captain Cold, he's like that. Sure pal. What I find even more disrespectful is this. How is it that a new god with superhuman reflexes and speed can't dodge the cold gun, but of course, the Bat God can? Not only is he doing that, but he just whooped another Flash rogue, Mirror Master, at the same time. This is why I say to you guys that we were brainwashed as kids to think Batman is the only hero in DC that matters. Now I can't put this all on JLU, I think there are some problems with the original series. While I love both of the animated series, there is definitely a little bit of batwank there. Now I shouldn't have to explain Superman to you guys, the greatest superhero of all time, the Man of Steel, named that because he can block bullets, stop runaway trains, he is tough, you know the deal. What's so insane is this version of Superman, shown in the DCAU, has gone toe-to-toe with Darkseid, being able to withstand blows even. So, this guy's pretty durable, right? Wrong. Roll the tape.
I think you got your answer.
A human being weighing no more than 265 is able to throw the Man of Steel across the room. How much do we need to wank off Batman to prove he's the biggest, baddest of all time? This is ridiculous. I remember talking about this, people were saying, well, you know, Superman was caught off guard, he didn't expect Batman to do that, he wasn't protecting himself, all are true mind you. However, no matter how unsuspecting a grown man is, he cannot be flipped over and thrown across the room by a 3-year-old. In this situation, Batman is the 3-year-old. Superman should never be able to be thrown by a human being unless he chooses to do so as an act. Batman is unfathomably small and weak compared to Superman. I mean, this is a guy who can tank Darkseid's hits. Batman should have broke his hand trying to attack him. A scene I love that demonstrates this in Superman and Lois, where some drunk asshole was messing with the Kents, tries to push Superman, but it's almost like he's a wall. Superman should be a tough, stern force, unmoving and strong. The idea that he has to focus on being durable to be durable is stupid. Honestly guys, I am tempted to make the entire video about the DCAU's crimes. Batwanking is a serious offense. I want to give you guys one more moment that I think is small, but really tells you exactly how the showrunners think. Here we are at the end of Season 2 in JLU. Brainiac and Lex Luthor have just merged to become a being so powerful that the Flash has to push his body to the limit just to get rid of him, resulting in the Flash being lost to the Speed Force. I remember as a kid how hyped this moment and how scary the villain was. So given all of that, you'd think that he'd be a real challenge for the League, right? Well, yes, you're actually correct. Most of the League, at least. Here we have a really quick sequence that shows the mindset their showrunners had about Batman. Here we have Lex Luthor / Brainiac shooting lasers at the League. Immediately, 4 go down, including Superman. Remember this. Then we cut to Batman, of course, running on the ground, and the most egregious thing happens. When Batman dodges the first laser. You're telling me Batman dodges the laser, but Superman can't? Green Lantern can't? Hot Girl can't? Martian Manhunter can't? The guy that can phase through anything. The showrunners had a rule where Batman has to outclass the League in every fight no matter what. If Superman is taken out in 4 swings, Batman has to do it in 5. If the Flash can outrun Omega Beams, Batman can now dodge them. If Wonder Woman loses to Caliban, it doesn't matter that she's damn near Superman level, Batman suddenly outclasses Caliban in every way and flips him over. Now I know a lot of you Batman fans are yelling and raving about the excuses, most notably in this clip, Batman does get hit by the second laser. My problem is that they essentially dumb down the League, and I mean they're all flying in a straight line, barely trying to dodge anything, just to elevate Batman's prestige. It's really disrespectful to everyone else in the League, especially Superman.
2 bat burgers, medium rare, and 2 glasses of orangeade, doubles.
Okay, I want to calm down a bit, so I'm going to go over some funny plot armor moments, a little bit of playful batwank. One of the funniest moments in DC history is of course the famous shark repellent bat spray. I mean, this show was comedy gold and really popularized a lot of essential Batman ideas. However, I think this is where I learned about Batman's prep time for the first time and how insane he is about it. I honestly didn't mind, and I still don't mind, Batman having this endless utility belt, being able to pull whatever from it, as long as it doesn't take itself too seriously. Most of the Batman media I enjoy is where they don't take themselves too seriously, like the Lego Batman movie or the cartoon Batman the Brave and the Bold. I just love how cartoony and accurate they are to Batman's fantastical side, as well as giving him a bit of edge. And I'll tell you, the best decade to get that version of Batman is the 80s. The 80s has such good Batman media. Now I love Batman and the Outsiders, but I want to talk about the series with the most famous batwank panel. Now we talked about the Justice League International, or JLI, which you all should really read. Such a fun book, mainly because that book is the predecessor for a lot of the lighthearted batwank. However, I gotta be honest, I was so glad when he left, because I could not handle how much dick riding this book did for Batman. I mean, issue 1, he comes in swinging his Johnson around, he knows he's the boss. Well, again, I enjoy the humor, the idea that every single leaguer is a childlike buffoon, and Batman, and only Batman, is able to corral them is hilarious and ridiculous. I mean, the way Batman bitches and Sons Guy Gardner is crazy. Like, how are you gonna take that guy? Now, the last bit of goofy batwank I want to go over is such an insane thing I can only hope it makes it to the big screen just so I can laugh to myself in the theater. Here we have Superman, possibly the most mind-controlled man in comics, right behind Wolverine. Again, I shouldn't have to explain to you who Supes is. He is a problem if he falls into the wrong hands. Unfortunately, in Batman 2011, issue 26, we see just that. Superman falls into the wrong hands. Batman and Superman are out fighting, Batman low-key doing a great job of utilizing the Red Sun effect, and honestly, I love it when people opt for Red Sun over Kryptonite when fighting Supes. I mean, it has that added effect of looking sick as hell. However, Superman in his adult state has enough intellect just to fly Batman up and then try to kill him on impact with the ground. However, before he can do that, Batman spits in his eye. Like, what the fuck? This guy apparently has been chewing a kryptonite gum he's created and immediately neutralizes Superman with it. I mean, who thinks of this shit? Does Batman have kryptonite breath mints, kryptonite cologne, kryptonite chacos? The possibilities are endless. I love it. And I love Batman moments like this, where it's comical with how prepared he is. I don't like it when they take him too seriously to the point where it's shameless batwank. What I hate even more than that is the choice to make a realistic Batman, but to still include insanely unrealistic batwank moments. Of course, I'm talking about live action batwank. Let us now go over a few live-action plot armor moments. Some might seem a little nitpicky, but others are more egregious. I want to go over the greatest Batman film of all time, that of course being The Batman. I mean, Batson is him, at least in his world. If you guys know my takes, you know how much I hate the merger talks, mainly because I don't want one of the best year one Batman adaptations to go to waste for film synergy. I'm going over some of the BS moments here, but I want to first praise the film film for how balanced Batman feels here. He feels like a real human, especially in the end fight where he's struggling against Riddler goons. I mean, he has to take an adrenaline shot just to get back in the fight. However, parts of this film are not so realistic. If you guys have seen this film, you know exactly what moment I think is complete bull. Batman has to disarm a bomb in City Hall, and with his face pressed up against it, listening to the Riddler's livestream, the bomb goes off. And I'm not sure if you guys have seen war movies, but the force a bomb releases is enough to rip anyone apart, even small bombs. Hell, we just saw a social media idiot blow his hand off with fireworks. But this is Batman, and he somehow survives the bomb by covering his face with his gauntlets. You know what, I'm not going to harp on this because this whole sequence was so good. I mean, I loved Batman being carried back to the GCPD and the cops trying to unmask him and then fight him. What I find even crazier though is the end of this, where Batman uses his glide suit for the first time and crashes into solid concrete, flips over, hitting his cranium at full speed. The back of his head, man. Like, football players start drooling if they feel a tenth of this force. Now, my issue with this is that if you're going to go realistic, why do you not respect realistic physics? It irks me that people just use realism as a way to cut out Batman's sci-fi and fantasy elements. I'd much rather have a Batman story where Barbados is real than another Year One adaptation. Now, like I said, Batman is still my favorite Batman, and I appreciate the Dark Knight trilogy. It's just I don't appreciate half-assing the realism. I'd rather that they give up the realism altogether. Now, I could go on with the Dark Knight trilogy examples, but I think I might lose my mind. No, instead, I want to briefly talk about the most underrated Batman of all time, that being Batfleck. This guy represented so much of what I wanted in a Batman. He moves like a dark shadow, slinking and scurrying around, always around the corner. However, he's still a fucking tank, built like a brick shithouse and able to take on a whole warehouse of dudes. Well, I think this movie does a lot of stupid batwank. The most egregious to me is this part right here. At the beginning of the titular fight, Superman gets these great feats of strength, able to throw Batman around like a rag doll. My issue is that Batman gets thrown through a building and then through a concrete roof in succession. Yet somehow he gets up. I mean, Batman takes one shotgun blast in the middle of his armor and has to take adrenaline to get back up. Batfleck somehow survives enough force to break concrete. For all of you saying that he has armor, that is not how physics work. One thing I loved about the Luke Cage show is how they explained outer protection, his durable, bulletproof skin, and how it does not protect the inner organs, and how force will violently move your organs to a point where it will get smushed. Now, I don't hold it against this film mainly because there are so many other problems with it. I just don't care about physics in a movie with Doomsday in it, really. However, I think this is batwank persisting where it shouldn't have. If we go back to the comics, what you'll find is that Batman's fight against Superman in The Dark Knight Rises is so much more difficult than BVS. I mean, he has to enlist help from other heroes, perfectly time and prepare his weaponry. More importantly, he doesn't get away scot-free. I mean, he has a heart attack because of it. He actually suffers a mortal wound. With its adaptation, they strip away a lot of the nuance in that fight and only focus on the spectacle of the Bat-God versus Soups, the Boy Scout. Don't get me wrong, I am entertained, but we gotta be real about Batman, guys. If he's tanking these hits, he might as well be a metahuman. Now, this isn't a new concept. Adaptations, especially film and TV, flanderize the source material to its most desirable traits. What makes The Dark Knight Rises interesting for majority of the population is seeing the spectacle of two heroes fighting and the underdog taking a W. If you look at Tower of Babel, which is a cool idea by my GOAT Mark Waid, he opened Pandora's box there on the prep time debate. I mean, in that story, it's a critique of Batman's paranoia and trust issues. We see all of his preparations being taken by one of his greatest foes, Ra's al Ghul. What's even more insane is that these contingency plans would still be effective for a mind control situation if the Leaguers knew a bit about how they worked. However, because none of them had any idea, it almost caused the death of every single Leaguer. Wonder Woman even calls out Batman on this, rightfully so. But like I said, people people like to flanderize the comic. Suddenly, this comic is not about challenging Batman's flaws, and is instead purely about jerking him off with the obnoxious prep time angle. Now, I like Batman with prep time, but let's pump the brakes sometimes. There are other smart characters out there, contrary to popular belief. I mean, Mr. Terrific, Blue Beetle, Superman too. Now, I could go over the many times Batman is actually lost in the comics as I am reading the 80s phase of DC, and it is the best decade by far. I want to say it again, I don't care. I want to do a video on the man who actually broke the bat, not Bane, but Deacon Blackfire. My next video will be Hal Jordan is a bum, so stay tuned for that. If you guys want more rants, I could always talk about the evil twin of Batwank, that being Joker Wank. Let me know what you guys think about Batman's plot armor and how it's fun, but at the same time ridiculous. Alrighty y'all, peace.